Okay, now we've had a chance to take a look at a cell membrane. What is a cell membrane? And we know that all cells have a cell membrane, all eukaryotic cells and all prokaryotic cells have a cell membrane. We kind of have an idea of what is a cell membrane, what it's made up of, phospholipid molecules and proteins and cholesterol, glycoproteins, and what it does. Let's explore in a little more detail how material gets across this cell membrane. Okay, let me get my pen. Let's get red. So the methods that material gets across a cell membrane can be categorized in several different ways. One way is whether it uses energy or not. So passive transport does not use energy. Active transport does use energy. Another way of categorizing these methods of transport would be whether a protein is used in the transportation process, not used, or is used. And again, same goes with active transport, whether protein is not used or a protein is used. So let's take a look at the first one right here. Let's take a look at diffusion. What is diffusion? Okay, so let's say, you probably heard of diffusion when you think of when you put sugar in your coffee or your tea in the morning. You know that it diffuses into your coffee so that it's well mixed. Or if you spray perfume into the air, you know that the perfume molecules diffuse so that you can smell it from fairly far away. Okay, so let's take a look. Let me write this out. Okay, diffusion. What is diffusion? So let's say that these are sucrose molecules, and let's say this is my cup of tea in the morning, and I just put in some sugar. Don't look at how much sugar I put in. So these are sucrose molecules, and they are bonded together in the crystal form. And what kind of bonds are these? You got it. They're hydrogen bonds. So hydrogen bonds. So when you put the sucrose crystals into water, they dissolve because the water molecules out here are polar. They have charges. Our sucrose molecule also has lots of charges all around. Lots of charges all around our sucrose molecule. And the water molecules bond onto the sucrose molecules. And that, because there's so many water molecules, that it's stronger than the hydrogen bonds. So the hydrogen bonds of the water, because there's so many, stronger than the hydrogen bonds between the sucrose molecules, so it dissolves. Okay, we got that. So now that our sugar's dissolved, it diffuses. It mixes into the rest of our tea. So let's go ahead and put a definition of diffusion up here. Oh, actually, let me define a few words here. So let's see. Let's say our sugar molecule is a solute, and our water is a solvent. and together they are a solution. Okay, so our definition of diffusion then. Okay, so a solute tends to move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. I'm going to abbreviate that, concentration. So why? Why is that? It has to do with kinetic energy. So we know that all atoms have kinetic energy. They're moving. So the atoms inside the sucrose molecule are moving, which then makes the sucrose molecule move. So they're all moving. Sucrose molecules are moving, the water molecules are moving. They're all moving around, bouncing off of each other, bouncing off the walls until they spread out. So they all have their own personal space. So solute tends to move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration until the concentration is equal across this space. So until it's all equal across this space. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there was something else I wanted to mention too. So so what's happening here is these solute molecules I mentioned are going from high concentration to an area of low concentration. So in here, it's an area of high concentration, and then out here is an area of low concentration. So solute molecules will move down, move down their concentration. I'll abbreviate that, concentration gradient. So moving from high concentration to low concentration is moving down their concentration gradient. Okay, so what does this have to do with the cell membrane? So let's check that out. Okay, here is our cell membrane. This is the phospholipid bilayer of the plasma membrane. Here we've got inside the cell the cytoplasm, and outside the cell the extracellular fluid. Okay, and we are talking about diffusion. So there are certain molecules that will just pass right through the cell membrane, almost as if it's not even there. And it will flow from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration, because remember, that's our definition of diffusion. So they will just go straight through the membrane until there's an equal concentration across this whole space. So there are certain molecules that are small enough and that don't have a charge, so it's not stopped by the cell membrane. And an example of that would be an oxygen molecule, and another example is a carbon dioxide molecule. They are both small enough and they're non-polar, so there's no charge, to just go straight through, which is a good thing. So our cells need oxygen, and they need to be able to get rid of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is diffusion. Okay, let me make sure. It's all due to kinetic energy. And so you know that diffusion um, will happen just in a solution and in the air. So there doesn't necessarily have to be a membrane here for diffusion to happen, but it does go across with certain molecules because they're small enough and they are nonpolar. So I hope you found that interesting. Thank you.